Hey, this is Misty here, and I'm here with you today to show you the prepper's last meal. Several people have been talking about what would you feed if you come to the end of the time and somebody comes to your door and they knocks and they says, "I'm hungry, please feed me." What would you do? Would you feed them? What would you feed them? There are several people who's done this. East Coast Prepper's done it. Ironhead 41's done it. Menbound's done it. There's just so many that have done it, and I want to do this video in response to them. And what I have here is corn. I have dried field corn, and we're going to take this dried field corn and I'm going to make cornmeal mush with it for you. And today what we're going to do also is, me and Mountain Man's both going to do this video. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and he's going to do a lot of the narrating, so that way we get all aspects of this covered, okay?
Okay, what you're looking at here is non-GMO corn that I talk about. This is the corn that our hog feed comes from and our chicken feed comes from. Alright, I have found some friends of ours. I talked to them yesterday, and I am going to get my seed corn come spring. And it will be, of course, non-GMO because it is an heirloom corn. They have had this heirloom corn that I will be planting, this field corn, in the spring for the last 20 years, for over 20 years. They plant their corn, they keep their corn, they replant their same seed over and over again. And when you do this, if you plant any heirloom corn and you get a stalk with 2 ears on it, it is important that you select those stalks with 2 ears to keep your seed for the next year.
And your biggest ear.
And your best ear, because more than likely every one of those you plant will give you 2 ears. Not every stalk of corn has 2 ears on it. If you find the seed from the stalks with the 2 ears, you will get back 2 ears in most cases. Okay, she's going to shell some of this out, and we're going to grind this in our Corona mill behind her. And this is a low-grade mill. A lot of you will be familiar with the Corona mill. We've had this mill for years. And to get this ground down finely enough for what you need it, we will have to run it through twice, maybe 3 times. Okay, I want to do this video for more than one reason, more than one purpose, to help as many as I can. Corn is a basic staple of life for animals and was for humans, and it's in cereal. Everyone knows that. I'm really concerned about all the cereal that the world eats that has GMO corn in it. I think there will be some repercussions down the line of eating that much cereal with GMO corn in it, but that's for another video, I reckon.
We don't have a sheller.
When you keep field corn, when you keep corn on the cob, it holds on an average about 3% more protein than it does being shelled. You can buy shell corn at a lot of places. You can put shell corn in 55-gallon barrels. Around here right now, corn's high. It's about $8 a bushel. But an average bushel of corn, not on the cob, is supposed to be 55 pounds of corn. For this, this come out of a corn crib, and we're going to build a corn crib and show that to you too. Okay?
I was going to add on here also, this is good also for a lot more things. You don't want to throw your cob away either. These are good fire starters. I mean, so, and you can also take them to the outhouse if it gets down to the necessities that you don't have nothing else.
Yes.
So it's got many purposes.
I, as a child, was in many outhouses, and there was a box full of those waiting on the next participant. But this is where we are with this corn. This is something that she's going to make, this cornmeal mush. There are families here in the community that have raised from 8 to 14 children on cornmeal mush. No, this is not something that a lot of you are going to like or want to do, but I'm talking about the end time to where you could have 400 or 500 pounds of shell corn would make a lot of corn pudding, corn mush, as they call it here sometimes. She's going to show you 2 different ways to do it. You can make it directly up and cook it down and eat it, and then you can set it outside to chill. Most don't have refrigeration here, so in the wintertime they set it out, they let it get hard overnight, and then they cut it and they recook it the next day. She's all going to show you both ways to do it with this. This is something that I feel that you can give, that you could help people out that come to your door without being able to have to tell them, no, I have nothing for you. This is a way that you could take the Christian and the humanitarian view of helping other people with this. And if you were going from wherever you lived to your retreat and you passed along a cornfield or a down cornfield, you could find food this way. You could cook this down in the open, and it's not going to be McDonald's, y'all, on the side of the road. But that's not where we're looking at it. If anybody watched the movie The Road, then you saw where they were even hoping for hay seeds in the loft, and there wasn't any. They were looking for dried bugs. This to me here is below rice and beans. This is the basics, okay, of life itself.
Every family we know.
If you know your Bible, that Jesus went through the field and he pulled the ears from the stalks and they ate corn, okay?
But every single family we know in this community eats this every day, or just about every day. They have it for breakfast. They save what's left over from breakfast. If they make it a cereal, they chill it, and they have it the next morning in the second way. And I do think that the second way is going to be the better tasting way. If you've ever made grits, just like you buy from the store, it's the basic concept of it is what it is. You can sweeten it, make a cereal with it, or the people that salt and pepper it, and they eat it with their bacon and their eggs and their breakfast foods, just as the side dish. But also, what I have here, I was going to show you. This is dried sweet corn. This is 4 years old, and it still tastes good. It holds its flavor. And some friends of ours that do not buy anything from the store food-wise at all whatsoever. They make everything they have. They grind it, their flour, their corn. This is how they do their cornmeal. Everything. And you take and you blanch it. You cut it off the cob and you dehydrate it. And it's the best tasting sweet corn in it. It's the best way I have found to store sweet corn for a long period of time. They have no form of electricity at all. No solar, no grid, anything. They have a natural smoker type dehydrator out in the yard, okay, that they dry this sweet corn with. They raise their own peanuts and they make their own peanut butter. They raise their own wheat, and they have a wheat thrasher made from a bicycle pedal. And I'm wanting to get it and some wheat berries. And if you want to ask before you send me a PM what a wheat berry is, here in the community among plain people, a grain of wheat is called a wheat berry. I've come from a very large farm before I came to Tennessee 25 years ago, and I hauled lots of wheat to the grain elevator, and I never heard the word wheat berry till we got here, so they confused me for a moment. It's just it's just a head of wheat. It's just an individual piece of wheat. They call it a wheat berry. Okay, we're going to be back in a minute. We're going to work on grinding. Okay, I'm going to grind this, and I'm going to have to probably grind it several times to get it fine. I've ground that little bit. They make many grain mills that will put out finely ground corn the very first time. But this is what we have, and we make do with it. And right here on the outside, you loosen the wing nut and you tighten up the eye bolt, and you get finer ground, which makes it harder to turn every time. And you can also sift it and get your finest stuff out to make it with, and then use your harder stuff to make more of just a pure cereal like you would cracked wheat. Okay, this is the first grinding. You got some powdery, you got some of your kernel part. I'm going to pour it back through, we're going to go through again. I'm going to try to tighten this a little more now that I've got it ground, and let's see. You can get it too tight where you just can't turn it. Okay, we tightened it up, and this is what I got off of run grinding after I tightened my flywheel up. And that's pretty fine. That's probably as fine as you need it. And I recommend you not to put a motor on these.
On the Corona.
Yeah, because it just won't take it.
They're made for high-speed grinding. They're made for hand grinding. They make many fine meals that you can motorize. But in a raw situation, there may not be any kind of electricity at all for a motorized meal.
Alright, these two size cobs gave me 2 2/3 of a cup of ground cornmeal off of two cobs, 2 ears of corn. I got 2 2/3 cup of cornmeal.
Oh.
Comes to this point, let's hope you still have water, a water source of some kind, because all this recipe consists of is a cup of cornmeal, 4 cups of water, and a teaspoon of salt if you have it. Let's hope you still do, you know. But that's what this meal consists of, the basics of it. What you add to it to make it taste better, now that's a different story. But let's go to the house and let's start cooking. Okay, I'm at the house here and I've got my cornmeal ground, and I've got 3 cups of cornmeal. We're gonna do that. And you want to have, for every batch, 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of cold water, a teaspoon of salt, and 3 cups of boiling water. And you want to, since I've got this triple recipe, I've got 9 cups of water in here. I want to bring my water to a boil. Put a lid on it so it can come to a boil. Then, you want 1 cup of water to 1 cold cup of water to every 1 cup of cornmeal. You want to mix this together. And I have my salt in my boiling water. And the purpose of this is you mix this together so when you put it in your boiling water, it's not going to clump. If you put this cornmeal into your boiling water, it does different than grits and other things like that. It wants to clump up. So you do this so you have a nice, smooth cornmeal mush. And I'm going to blend this up. And when my water gets to boiling, I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to cook it. Okay, so when my water gets to boiling, I will be back, and then we'll cook the rest of it. Got my water to boil, and I pulled it off. You don't want a hard roller boil. You want a nice simmer boil. And this part is very, very important to do, is to mix this with cold water first, and then to get it dissolved. I'm going to slowly pour it in here and stir it. And then what we do, out of here quick, is you want to keep this at a simmer, a slow simmer. You don't want to cook it over here on high heat. You want to put it towards the middle of your stove, or turn your stove down on a low heat and have it at a slow simmering boil, just simmering, you know, not hard. And you want to stir it, and you want to put a lid on it. See, it's already kind of getting thicker. Put a lid on it, and then you want to come back semi-periodically and give it a stir and let this simmer for a while until it's thickened up and it's softened. And I'll be back to you. Okay, I have this cooked now, and this is what it's like cooked. And if you want it thicker, use a little less water. You know how that goes. I'm going to put me some in a bowl. I'm going to use a spoon. And as it cools, it does get thicker. And it really doesn't taste that bad. It almost tastes kind of buttery. Very hot. It really isn't that bad. You'd be surprised. I'm guessing with this cast iron really gives it flavor. We'll put a little sugar in it. A little bit of butter. You don't want too much butter because it really almost has a buttery taste too. My daughter said, "Did you put butter in it?" I said, "No, I didn't put butter in it. It's just cornmeal, water, and a little bit of salt." It's not that bad. See how you could eat it. You could sweeten it with sorghum or honey. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in these bread pans. I did butter them just a little bit. And then I'm going to fill these up, and I'm going to chill these. And then I'll come back to you after a while once these are chilled. And we'll get them out of the bread pan and see how this goes, and we'll slice them up. Alright, I've got this chilled now, and you see it's congealed. Now let's see if we can dump this out here. All right. That's what it did. And that needs like a jelly roll, a cornmeal jelly roll. All right, we're gonna slice this. Slice it up. And then we're going to flour it. Another piece here. And then I'm going to put it on the stove and fry it. Alright, you want your grease to be hot. You don't want to fry it really fast and hot because you want it to kind of cook and absorb. Fry these up. And then when they get done, I will show you what they're like, because I'm going to say the rest of it. We're going to have it for breakfast in the morning. Alrighty. Back in a little while. I've got these fried up now, and this is how they turned out. I took them out of the grease and put them on my griddle. I had it hot to kind of help with the grease. Then I put them on paper towels and got me a couple out. These are still sizzling. And y'all, hot. That is very good. I've never ate this before. I've never made cornmeal mush or attempted it. And I'm really glad I did, because I know why they eat this every morning down on the creek and where they live, you know. But the cornmeal mush was good like that. But you take and fry it, and you got yourself one very delicious thing to eat that is very easy to stock up on and save. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope you have a very good day. I want to add, you know, you can get a lot of food out of a bushel of corn. I mean, look what I made. This is 2 ears of corn. I fried just that much, made that much here. Got all this left. And I know that that'll be, one of these by themselves is going to be more than we're going to want for breakfast in the morning. It just really, really is worth it, y'all. If you've not done it, try it. If you can't get just field corn, your own corn, go to the sorry, I got corn in my throat. Go to the grocery store and buy yourself yellow cornmeal. Not self-rising cornmeal, not cornmeal mix, just plain yellow cornmeal. That is what some of my people I know use when they do not have field corn ready for them. Alright? Just want to add that to it.